I've got a Weber Genesis grill here that recently had a problem with one of the burners. I'm going to show you what happened today, or actually last week. And I ordered some parts from Amazon, so we're going to try to fix it today. And I'm going to try to do this quicker than what I saw online, because a lot of people are showing you taking the whole grill apart. And like my other video, when I showed you how to change the electronic ignition, you really don't need to take the whole grill apart to do this. At least I don't think so. I haven't done it yet, but let me show you what happened. So the first burner on the left wouldn't light up anymore, this one here, by using the electronic ignition. So I put an inspection mirror in there, and I could see the spark coming out of the igniter there, so it was sparking. Yet I could stick a lighter in here and I could start the flame, no problem. So I'm like, well, it's getting gas, I can light it up, yet the electronic piece would not light it. So I took the grates off, which I'm going to do right now again. And this is what I found. It was very surprising. Once you take the float bar off, look what happened to this grill, or this bar here. You can see it actually got a hole in it, and by just touching it even more with your finger just a little bit, it's completely rusted out. It's completely shot. So I believe that's the problem as to why this doesn't start right. It's clogged, because when you light it up with just a manual lighter, it only lights up the first 30% of the little cutouts here, and then the rest of it's not lit up. So I'm sure that's what the problem is. So as usual, some of these Weber parts are not stainless steel, and you can get a lot of nice aftermarket parts that are stainless steel, and they're usually half the price of what Weber charges. So I went out on Amazon and I got these stainless steel parts, and 3 of these are about $38. So I'm going to try to install this today without taking the whole grill apart, and we're going to see how it goes. Alright, so I've got a camera angle where I think I can show how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing through the camera because the camera is actually in front of me. But the way they want you to do this is take the whole grill apart. There's quite a bit of excess wire in these, so you can just pull it out of the grill. And actually what happened in this case, the igniter slid off. There's a little slit there where it holds onto the tube. And you can see it here. So that actually fell off when I pulled this out. So let's try to get the new one in there and slide that igniter back on the tube. Let me better explain how you're going to install this igniter on the burner tube. When it was in the grill, it was hard to explain. This is one of the new stainless steel burner tubes. This is a spare igniter that came with my electronic ignition kit, where I did not replace these because it was just the electronic ignition that had failed. That happened a couple years ago. So if you look at the tube, you have these 2 flanges here. See, on the other side of the tube is just a slot. On this side, this is the side where it gets the gas. All we're going to do is take this piece here, and with the open end, this end here, that goes towards where that slot is on the other side of the tube. And we're going to just slide it on. That's all you have to do. This is definitely messy work, and I don't think gloves would work too well, so you're going to definitely want a rag or something. Alright, so I'm going to work the new tube in. And of course we've got to get this on the burner. Okay, I got it. You're actually going to click it on from the front of the tube and then push it towards the back of the tube. And believe it or not, I've already got this installed, so now we just got to get it back, aligned back in correctly. And there we go. That's all it took to install that tube, that burner tube. So now the question is, does it work? So let's try it out. And there it went. It ignited and it lit. So I'm going to turn it off. And I will change the other two tubes out because all three of them in there are very corroded. Now, the one thing I didn't show, I will realign the camera. This tube that I replaced, the screw was completely missing. There is a screw that you have to loosen up, but this one, the screw head was gone. It was so corroded, the screw just somehow disappeared into the grill. But let me reposition the camera and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the middle burner tube, and this is going to be a problem. That screw is pretty much damaged. There's a little bit of a flat slit here, but not a lot, and the actual hex around it is gone. It's all corroded. And the same with the burner on the left side. So these screws are probably not going to come out. I'm probably just going to have to break the heads off of them so I can get these burner tubes out. But I'll get a pair of pliers and a screwdriver and I'll see what I can do. Alright, so I went back and got a screwdriver, but I'm fairly convinced there's not enough of a screw head available to get this out with a screwdriver, but we're going to try it. But I think it's too corroded and too busted up. And yeah, it already disintegrated. Just by turning the screw a little bit, no go. That's not going to come out that way. So we're going to have to try a pair of pliers on it and see if we can either break the head off or just get it loose. So we're going to try something like this and see how that goes. And no, the head's gone already. And there's no way we're going to be able to get that screw out. So we're just going to have to get it smaller so that square slot that's on the burner tube, we can get that screw head to clear that square slot so we can pick it out of there. And right now it's in there pretty solid. Might have to get like a Dremel tool or something to get that out. Not sure yet what we're going to do to get that out of there because that screw is really corroded bad. Let me see what the last screw does. There's a little bit of a screw head on that one. So let's see what happens if we try it on this one. Okay, I can get a grab on this, but it's in solid. It's not, it's probably going to break the screw head. Nope. Not sure how I'm going to get that out. I do have a Dremel tool. I could use a grinding wheel on it. That makes it tricky because the average person may not have a Dremel tool. I don't know how else to really get that screw out unless you try to drill a hole in it. But that would be fairly hard to drill a hole in that screw. Okay, so here's what I did. With the pliers, I just ran this over the top of the screw and got as much of the crap off the screw as possible. There's a lot of rust on there and other gunk. And I just kept scraping the top of the screw off. I also, you got to clean this burner a bit so you can see where the notch is. Once I got the notch, see, it comes out. So the screw is still there, but by just taking off some of the ends of the screw with a pair of pliers, it will fit through the notch by just rotating slightly the burner tube. So that's all you've got to do. So now let's get this burner tube out. This one also is corroded on the end here, although this one was igniting without an issue. So I'm going to pick it out, and I guess I should move the camera, but maybe not. We'll leave this view for here. And actually, I'll move the camera now that I've moved it out of the holder. Okay, so there you can see the igniter, that white piece. It looks like it's ceramic type material. So we're going to take the tube out. There's enough excess wire, you can slightly just pull on that. And then I'm going to push this towards the front of the grill, the ceramic piece. Just push it towards the front, and out comes the burner tube. It's really simple. So we'll put this to the side. We'll get one of the new burner tubes. And holding the burner tube at an angle so we can get it in the grill, again, you push the ceramic on from the front of the burner tube. With those two metal flanges, and it just slides in place. You got to make sure you get both of them locked in. What's happening here is just one of them is going on the inside of the flange, the other is going on the outside. So now I got them both on the inside of that flange, and that's it. Locks into place, and then you just got to find that, slide it in, and there we go. Another one's done. So it looks like the most difficult part of this is just getting that corroded screw to be small enough so you can get that burner tube out. So let's test the second one to see if it's working okay. Yep. All right, I have to blow on it. Sometimes I've noticed you have to blow on the tube itself a little bit to get the igniter going, but it lit up just fine. So I'm going to shut this off. I don't want to get that too hot. And we'll work on the third one. So there's the screw that we're going to have to size down a bit because this is not wiggling at all. So as I said, I just took a pair of pliers and I also knocked it a little bit. That helps see if there's how much corrosion is on there. A wire brush would also work. I should really get a wire brush out and try to brush that off. It would give me a better idea of how much of that screw head is left. Now see, this screw head is probably the healthiest of the two that were left. But I don't think I could get that off with the nut driver, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to clean the back off. There's a white corrosion behind the screw. I need to clear that out so that I can try a nut driver on it. All right, so after cleaning the back of the grill out there where the screw is, it didn't work. So I just kept wiping the screwdriver around the nut until this is now able to move back and forth. So again, I'm going to try to just turn it out at an angle, and it's not going to come out. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of that screw head off so we can work that out of there. There we go. Now I know there's no way to really secure those down. I'm not too worried about it. They're really not going to go anywhere once you put the flavorizer bars back over them. And they're probably there mostly for shipping purposes. Considering this one on the far left was already missing the screw for who knows how long, it never gave me an issue as far as it moving around because the flavorizer bars are going to completely hide these from anything. So it shouldn't be an issue not having those screw heads on there. All right, so all three burner tubes are now in. It's a shame that those screws made this a more difficult fix. Because if it wasn't for those screws, this is a really simple fix. You don't have to take much of the grill apart to get them in there. There might be other ways that you can get those screws out. You could try a drill, but I've seen other people talk about it, and those screws tend to just crumble when you try to back them out of there. All right, so let's test the last burner tube here and make sure it's working okay. Yeah, and it lit up just fine. So no issues. I'll show what part number I bought from Amazon so everybody knows exactly what to get. And this is for the Weber Genesis grill, not the Genesis 2, but the Genesis. Okay, so this is what I ordered on Amazon, the Hongso 19.5-inch burner tube kit. This is for the Weber Genesis 300 series, which I better refer to as the Genesis 1 or the first gen series. You have to make sure it's the right grill because they have Spirit grills and other grills from Weber. And I took my burner tubes out and I did measure. They were 19.5 inches before I actually ordered the kit. Now, as I said in the video, just when you take this burner tube, the igniters don't come with the burner tube. So you're going to use the igniters that are already installed in the grill. You just want to make sure that both flanges, you can see these two flanges here, that both of the flanges on the igniter slide to the inside of these here. You want to make sure that not one of them is on the outside and one is on the inside. You want to make sure they both sit on the inside, and you'll feel like a click when it locks in. And it's really a simple install. The hardest part was dealing with those corroded screws. Maybe you'll get lucky and your screws are corroded as much as mine were, and maybe they're not there, they're gone. But if not, you'll have to use some muscle and some pliers or something to whittle that screw down to the point where you can get the burner tube out from that slot over here.